Yeah.
That's got to be a big win for Billy Joe as well, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of the reasons that, you know, we're trying to group fighters together to make those matchups. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Gennady Golovkin, obviously Canelo's on the platform, Demetrius Andre, Danny Jacobs, you know, but you've got to try and make those fights happen. And that's what we will be doing, particularly in 2020. You know, we've got, most of those guys are mapped out for 2019, but we've got to be making all those combinations in 2020. Gennady Golovkin was someone that, you know, I had all these initial meetings with. Sometimes people get confused, right? I see myself, I work for DAZN, right? So my job is to bring all the top talent to DAZN. That's first and foremost. Strangely, in terms of bringing that top talent to Matchroom, that almost comes secondary. It's also important, but the number one priority for me is for DAZN to have the best fighters and the best schedule. Okay, so when does Gennady join DAZN, I set all those meetings up. I went to all the meetings, and then I kind of passed it off onto John Skipper and said, look, we would love you to work with us, but the main thing is that you join this platform. We had a really good relationship. He did a show, and then we kept talking, and then that opportunity came up where I said, look, we'd love to promote you. You know, obviously he's got Triple G Promotions, we work together. He's backed me as a promoter to map out his career with him and to drive his events and to build his profile and to be his voice, if you like. And that's humbling for me, because not only do I think he's one of the best fighters in the world, I think he's a great individual and a great human being. So for him to give me that trust really gives you a huge lift. You know, sometimes when you deal with a fighter that you think maybe that fighter's got no loyalty, maybe he don't really like you, maybe he's looking at other stuff, maybe there's a manager in the middle, means you don't ever have a relationship with that fighter. When you're as busy as I am, and I don't mean this in an arrogant point of view, but I'm knocking my bollocks out every day. I don't see my family, I'm travelling all over the world, I'm tired, my body's aching, I'm getting off planes, I can hardly walk, I'm up all hours not sleeping. So there's a commitment there to you. If you don't believe in me, if you don't want to be with me, if you don't think I'm the man for the job, if you're out there talking to other people or going behind my back, don't expect the same loyalty from me. The best thing you can ever get from me is to have my heart in your career. If I've got that, you're in a fucking great place, because there's no one better to be with. Do you know what I mean? And Gennady has that, because he's come out when he didn't have to. He didn't have to appoint me as his promoter. We didn't have to do this deal. But he chose to do this. You know, he didn't want to go with Top Rank. He didn't want to go with Al Heyman. He wanted to go with Matchroom. And that makes me feel very proud. That keeps me up the extra hours. Do you know what I mean? That gets me through it. So I take that very seriously, that responsibility. And it's an honour to represent him. First up, Sergey Derevyanchenko, October the 5th. And then all the big fights of all the guys I mentioned, you know, Andrade, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Danny Jacobs rematch, they're all there. So I'm really excited.
You mentioned how demanding it is for you in your job. How do you manage to sort of stay sane and manage everything that goes on?
I'm not sure I'm necessarily sane. I'm massively motivated because it's my life, you know, so it's a family business that is very, very important to me. I'll say on my Twitter, family first, business close second, but I see the business as my family. You have to understand, this was my dad, who's from a council estate in Dagenham. His dad was a bus driver, built this little business out of nowhere, become incredibly successful. I've helped take that to the next level. But for us, you know, I was criticised, did an interview with Gareth Davis, and he said, where the headline was, I would die for this company, this business. Well, what the conversation was actually saying was, do you fear almost for your health? And I said, I would die. And what I meant by that is, if it killed me, it kills me. Do you know what I mean? If I drop down out there later today with a massive heart attack through stress and everything, I know this sounds a bit bizarre, but that's it. I was okay. If you're fighting a war and you're going into the army, you know what you're signing up for. Same with boxing. All right, boxing's a dangerous sport, much more dangerous than being a promoter. You know what you're signing up to do, and that's how I feel as well. So I'm not here saying, oh, I'm so tired. You know, oh, I'm not getting any sleep. I know what I'm in. Do you know what I mean?
Developed a system where you can make sure that you're sort of fit and ready for.
I try and work out, but it's very hard to stay healthy when you're flying.
In terms of sleep.
Yeah, but you fly to America. I mean, look at last week. Can't remember where we were now. Wednesday, Tuesday night, I fly to America. Get off the plane, go straight to dinner, to a dinner meeting. Finish there, I've got another meeting back at the hotel. Wake up the next morning, having slept for like 2 hours, and then go straight to the Gennady Golovkin media that starts at 8 a.m. And then Fox at 8:30. Then all the press conferences start at 11, finish at 3, straight to the airport, fly to Phoenix to connect to a flight to Hearn. Like, you don't get the chance, but it's very lazy if you don't go to the gym. And there's many times where I've got to improve in that respect. That's probably where I've got to improve the most. I've got to work out more. But when you're knackered and you're in bed and you haven't slept, do you know how hard it is to go? I'm laying there, I'm thinking, you must go to the gym today. And you know, but there's no excuse for that. My dad always told me, there's no excuse for not working out. Get up earlier, go to the gym. Yeah, but I haven't slept. Nah, that's an excuse. He's right. And I've put on a bit of timber. So I've got to try and lose the weight, but it's so hard.
When this interview goes out, you just summarise why you are so great at what you do. It's the ground notes, straight up. But you will still get the critics, you'll still get losing your readers. How does that make you feel when you do that?
Nah, I mean, I'm so focused in terms of what I'm doing that I've learned to not take the criticism too personally or too seriously. The boos, like, there are a lot of people that just hate me, right? And the boos is more like, I'm not saying they're my biggest fans, but it has become almost like a little bit of a sort of a thing now, right? So I've just learned that there's so much negativity on social media. If you spend your life digesting negative feedback, what's the no? What I said? I remember saying to Wayne Rooney once. I said, "Do you read Twitter?" He was like, "Are you mad?" I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "You want to think I want to read all that abuse all day long? Because it's going to put you in a bad mood, isn't it? Especially when you're so passionate about what you do. Say that you were, not take it the wrong way, more high profile, right? And you were doing your job, and people were going, your interviews are shit, mate. I mean, you probably still get a little bit of it anyway. You know, it's like, your interviews are shit, mate. Oh, you might as well give up. You know, it doesn't matter how mentally strong you are. So just to have that input all day and that feedback all day, it's going to make you miserable. So I don't want to be miserable. This game makes you miserable enough. So the feedback, as long as you believe in what you're doing and you have a strategy and a plan, don't worry about other people, right? People will criticise you. And it's very easy to say, yeah, what are they doing with their life? Sitting on, I always say, sitting in their transformed pyjamas, knocking one out around their mum's house, right? So, and a lot of them, like, you imagine what they would give to be doing, not what I'm doing, what you're doing. Going to press conferences, interviewing pound for pound fighters. But they're not doing that, are they? You've done it. So you just got to make sure in life that you have a strategy, because the only thing that matters is your family, and you keep breathing. That's it. That's really what it comes down to.